Hey everyone. While we're doing curbside only and we can only talk to you on the phone right now, we wanted to make a little video about troubleshooting your device. So whether you have an error message on your screen or your device just isn't working when you press the button, this video has a bunch of tips in here that should be able to help you troubleshoot your own device. We will also have device-specific videos coming out, troubleshooting specific devices, so subscribe and turn notifications on to find out when those videos will come out. For now, here are some tips on how to troubleshoot your own device.
Common issues you might run into with your device are error messages. Every error message on every device is a little bit different just because of manufacturers, but they all kind of explain the same thing, and that's what we're going to be going over today. So some of the most common error messages you will run into are no coil, no atomizer, and atomizer low. Generally, those all mean you can check your coil, possibly even change it out. Go ahead and check over here for a tutorial on how to do that. Another error message you're likely to run into is the check battery message. We do have a video separately on that over here, but generally that just means there's something wrong with your batteries. There's a lot of troubleshooting in that little timestamp that we've included. A specific error message to SMOC devices that you will run into is do not abuse protect. That can happen for kind of a lot of things. It can happen when your batteries are having an issue, it can happen when your device is a little bit too hot, and it can happen if you're having some coil issues. So that one's kind of a catch-all for SMOC specifically. And the last message that you're least likely to see is check temp. Doesn't really apply too much, but with the hot summer months coming up, you might see it when your mod gets a little too warm or hot, and then we just recommend letting it cool off in a dark and cool environment, and it should be just fine after that.
So one of the more common errors you'll see on your vape is low battery, weak battery, battery low, something along those lines. Every vape will have a battery life indicator, usually looking like this, just a general sliding scale. So if your battery is low and you're getting that warning, you'd want to put it in an external bay charger just like this. These chargers always will have an LED or a screen indicating your charge. As you can see, the red battery here still needs a little bit. These guys on the left side over here do need a little bit more. When they're done, you're looking for about a 4.20.
All right, guys, it's Jake over at Pendleton Pike location. Today, we are going to talk about ohms. Your ohms are your resistance. They are labeled on your coil. Right now, we're working with a Crown 4. We're looking at a 0.2. Coil runs 70 to 80. Your ohms are actually one of the simplest things to troubleshoot because one, it will state on the coil what ohms that it runs at, and then also every device will have an indicator telling you. It is usually going to be a 0 point number with an omega sign next to it, left, right, up, down, right next to the reading. So this coil being a 0.2 may read anywhere from 0.1 to 0.3, which is fine and will still allow it to operate with the wattage listed. But if it does vary any more than that, we want to check our connection. All right, guys, we got Charles C coming up explaining how to check your connection.
One of the most common issues with your tank is usually your coil. There's a couple things that we can do to help troubleshoot it, and I'll demonstrate those to you now.
One of the first issues we can troubleshoot is at the bottom of the coil, there is a little connector that you can wiggle out, but be careful not to pull too hard or it'll pull out all of the way. The next thing you can try is cleaning the 510 connectors. You'll want to clean both the tank connector and the mod connector. You can screw your tank back onto the mod to double check if the mod reads the coil. If it does, you're all set. If not, we recommend changing the coil.
Hi, Mark here, Indy E6 Broad Ripple, here to show you how to change the power settings in your mod should you find that your mod is stuck in temperature control. Alright, to change the power settings on a mod like this one, this is the Puma mod, I would start by pressing the wattage adjustment buttons. On most mods, they are two small buttons, usually located underneath the screen. They have a plus and minus sign on them. On this mod, I would press both buttons simultaneously and hold them until I see something on the screen flashing. I would then press either the plus or minus button to cycle through the various power modes. You may cycle through many temperature control settings. Those settings are dependent on the coil you're using, titanium, nichrome, etc., until it ends up back on the power setting where it displays wattage. Then I would press the fire button and I'm all set. For the Aegis mods, like the Aegis Mini here, to access the power settings, you would press the fire button 3 times in rapid succession. Then you would cycle through the different power settings with the power adjustment buttons on the bottom of the screen, just like with the Puma. You may cycle through many different power settings until it ends back upon the power where it displays the wattage. You would then press and hold the fire button to set it. As always, you should check your user's manual for the proper operation of your mod. If you can't find your user's manual or have lost it, we'll be more than happy to help you out with changing the power settings on your mod. Just give us a call.
So hopefully those tips helped you troubleshoot your device. If you're still struggling, feel free to comment down below, message us on Instagram or on Facebook, or even call your closest Indie e-cigs. We're happy to help any way we can. But for now, that'll wrap up our troubleshooting video. We'll see you on the next vlog.